So in our sourcing video, we took a look at creating our ideal candidate profile. And creating the ideal candidate profile was really all about defining the attributes of the perfect candidate that we want to reach out to. And by doing this by first focusing on creating that ideal candidate profile, when we start to outreach to a prospect, when we start to outreach to a candidate, it's going to be a lot easier for us to identify the candidates that we want to reach out to. So now in this video, we'll look at the outreach process, but first, make sure you start with the sourcing or start with identifying the ideal candidate profile, the attributes of the people you want to reach out to first. It's going to make the outreach process a lot easier.
So in this video, we're going to talk about outreach. Outreach in the sourcing funnel still, but outreach is all about spreading the word. Spreading the word. Spreading the word to our ICP, right? We still want to always think about and keep in mind the ideal candidate profile that we want to go after. So we're going to try to generate interest in our job by reaching out to candidates in a couple different ways. And there's a few avenues, I guess, or a few levers that you can pull that you have here to work with. And the first one is going to be job boards, right? So this is pretty common. Most people have seen or actually used a job board before, where they're going to go and find different companies that are hiring and apply to those jobs. So from the recruiter standpoint, you can, of course, post a job, right? You can post a job on a job board, and on that job posting, you'll probably want to include some information about, who you're looking for and what skills you expect that person to have and the traits, and really just, kind of focusing on the ICP attributes that you want that candidate to embody. But that's one of the easiest levers to pull. And you can post your job on a number of different sites, including LinkedIn, Indeed. You got LinkedIn, Indeed. Those are the two biggest for sure. You've got your own website. So just say website of the company that you work for. You can post it there. And then any specialized job board, maybe if you're recruiting software engineers, there's a job board dedicated to that. Or maybe if you're recruiting people that work in, the solar power industry, there's a job board specifically for that, right? So there's a lot of specialized job boards out there. But job boards are definitely one avenue or one lever you can pull to start to reach out to candidates. The second one that we'll talk about is we'll just call general outbound. And outbound is going to be a couple different things. This is you as a recruiter going and reaching out directly to candidates, either through email, through phone, or more common now is direct message. So you can DM them. Probably on LinkedIn is going to be the most common one, but I've heard of people DMing them on, Instagram or Twitter, depending on what type of role you're reaching out for. And you'll hear outbound kind of referred to as cold outreach sometimes. So this is where, you don't know this person. You're just going to reach out to them cold and try to get a conversation going. And then the last one we'll talk about is referral. And this is where you are generating some interest, spreading the word about this job, either through your direct network, so through your network, or through employees. So this could be your network as the recruiter. As a recruiter, you're out there always socializing, and you've got probably a pretty big network that you can solicit referrals from. You can also just post on your LinkedIn and try to generate some interest in the job. And then you also have all the employees at the company that you work for who can also go and start drumming up some interest for this job. And this is, a really big hack here is, let's say you work at a 200-person company, and you got 200 people that are kind of working for you to help you find interest, to find, the ideal candidate profile you're looking for. So what you want to do here, again, is always keep in mind the ICP and make sure that everyone knows what you're looking for. If you're reaching out to your network, you're letting your network know, this is the type of candidate, this is the type of person that we're looking for to come work at this job. So these are the three kind of main levers that you can pull during the outreach process to start spreading the word, generating some interest. Now, keep in mind, through all of this, we've got our hiring funnel that we want to fill. So this is the sourcing stage. interview, and then hire. And presumably we want to hire one great candidate. And we know that we're going to have to source a lot of candidates to get that done, right? We're going to have to source 100 plus candidates in order to get that done. So all of these levers here, all of these outreach levers are pouring into the top of the funnel to help us source our candidates so that we can interview some great candidates and eventually hire one terrific candidate. So just remember that the outreach process is always multi-pronged. So it's not like you're just going to rely on one of these. You're going to do all of this across the board because you never know where that next great candidate will come from. And one thing you want to keep in mind is that each one of these levers here, each one of these outreach levers has different conversion rates through the funnel. So we'll just call this is, the conversion rate. This is, let's say, highest. The highest conversion and lowest conversion. So job boards, think about a job board, right? Who's applying on a job board? Literally anybody, right? Anyone can just go and click apply. There's a very low barrier of entry to people applying on the job board to your job. So you're going to get, frankly, you're going to get a bunch of garbage there. You're going to get a bunch of people that are unqualified, that don't fit your ICP. They didn't read the job posting. They're just mass blasting their resume, literally all over the website or all over the internet. So job boards are pretty low converting, meaning it's going to take hundreds of people applying to your job to find that one great candidate. Now in the middle here, we have outbound cold outreach. So cold outreach is very tailored and targeted. You're reaching out directly to people via email, phone, DM based on the ICP. So you spend a lot of time figuring out who do I want to reach out to, and then you've created that list. Now you've tailored your outreach, which is great. So you're reaching out to people that are probably a really, really good fit for your job, but not everyone's going to get back to you, right? People that you reach out to are going to fall into a couple categories. They're not going to be looking for a job, or they don't want to work for your company, or they end up not being a great fit. So that's why it's kind of in the middle here. It can be a really high converting channel, but it's unlikely that everyone you reach out to is going to be perfect and is going to convert all the way through the funnel. And then lastly, you have referral, which is really high converting because it can be tailored. It can be tailored to your ICP really well. And if somebody at your company is trying to get their friend to come work for that company, there's a high likelihood that if they're a good fit for the role, they're probably going to be a good fit culturally for the company, and that person might want to come work for your company because their friend works there. So referral is typically the highest converting channel out of any of them, but you're going to need volume here. So that's why you're going to try, or you're going to leverage all three of these channels, because you're going to need volume to get this one higher. So you're going to need some job boards, you're going to need some outbound, and you're going to need some referral candidates to help you get to this magic one hire down here.